lovely viewers, welcome again to Mathematics and I, the online platform that teaches you how to understand mathematics in a better way. And today we have a special topic which is known as consistency of equations. Consistency of equations. Now it could be this is your first time hearing this type of topic, and also it could be you already come in contact with a topic like this. But nevertheless, just sit back, relax as we explain how you can test for the consistency of equations. Now, first of all, what is an equation? Now, equations are expressions with equality signs. Equations are expressions with equality sign. So it clearly means that there is a difference between expressions and equations. For instance, if I should say A plus B alone, this is an expression. But if I should say A plus B equal to C, this is an equation. So what differentiates them? Expression, there is no equality sign. Equations, there's equality sign. Now the next is, how do you test for the consistency of given equations? Now let us assume we have an equation. We have the equation x1 a1 plus y1 b1 plus d1 equal to 0. And then we have x2 a2 plus y2 b2 plus d2 also equal to 0. And then again we have x3 a3 plus y3 b3 plus d3 equal to 0 as well. Now let's call this equation 1, equation 2, equation 3. Of course, a1, a2, a3, b1, b2, b3, d1, d2, d3 all represent constants. Okay, they represent constants. Now, how do you solve or how do you test for the consistency of these three equations? It is very simple. It is simply taking the determinants of these equations. And of course, this is a 3 by 3 matrix. Because why? If we should represent this equation in matrix form, this is what we are going to get. A1, B1, D1, A2, B2, D2, A3, B3, and D3. Okay, now for these equations to be consistent, it means the determinant must be equal to 0 if you should solve. It must be equal to what? 0. Now, this is an illustration of what we are going to be doing today in this video. Now, I'll be using 2 questions to give examples on how you can test the consistency of equations. Now, without wasting time, let's erase this and take the first example for today. All right, example number 1. Okay, example number 1 says, all right, 2x plus y minus 5 equal to 0, and x plus 4y plus 1 also equal to 0, and 3x minus y minus 10 equal to 0. And we are told to solve or to test for the consistency of this equation. Now let's call this equation 1 to begin with, equation 2, and equation 3. Now, like I said, for us to know if this equation is consistent, we have to solve for determinant, and the result must be equal to 0. So let us see. Here, representing this equation in matrix form, we have this 2 Y is carrying a positive 1 constant. And here we have a negative 5, right? And here x is carrying a constant 1. 4 is carrying a constant, y is carrying a constant 4. And here we have constant 1. Here x is carrying a coefficient of 3. Here y is carrying a coefficient of negative 1 because of the minus sign. And here we have negative 10. And don't forget we said, when we solve the determinant of this, it must be equal to 0 to know that this equation is consistent. Alright, so let's see how you can solve for the determinant of a 3 by 3 matrix. Now this is what we're going to do. First of all, our first row, okay, you attach the signs, plus, minus, plus. Alright, good. Now this is what we're going to do. The first element I have here is positive 2. So I'll bring this out. Okay, and then delete the 2 elements under 2 and write the remaining 4 in here. So if I should delete 1 and 3, what I'm going to be having is 4, 1, minus 1, minus 10. So here it becomes 4, 1, minus 1, minus 10. Alright, good. Now here I have a negative 1, so I'll bring it out. Negative 1, open again. Delete the 2 elements under the column of minus 1. So what am I going to be writing in this? We have 1, 1, 3, and minus 10. So I write 1, 1, 3, and minus 10. Good. Now, I have 2 signs here, plus and minus. Now, plus times minus gives us minus, so I'm going to be having just negative 5. Again, delete the 2 elements under minus 5. And so what I'll be writing is 1, 4, 3, minus 1. 1, 4, 3, and minus 1. Alright, it is as simple as that. Now let us proceed. Here becomes 2. Okay, now let's multiply. Now 4 multiplied by minus 10 gives us minus 40. And minus 1 multiplied by 1 gives us minus 1. Now, but don't forget, whenever you are solving the determinant of a 2 by 2 matrix, you must subtract. So 4 times minus 10 gives us minus 40, minus 1 times 1 gives us a negative 1. Alright, let us do the next one. We have minus 1 again. Now, 1 times minus 10 gives us minus 10 again. Minus 3 times 1 gives us 3. And we are done with that. And here we have minus 5. Alright. Now, 1 times minus 1 gives us minus 1. Minus 3 times 4 gives us 12. Okay. Now, let us solve what is inside the bracket first. And if we should do that, we are going to get 2 into the bracket of, now I have a negative sign and I have a negative sign also, so minus times minus gives us plus, so here it becomes minus 40 plus 1. Alright, good. Minus 1 into the bracket of, now negative 10, negative 3 gives us minus 13. Alright, now minus, we have 5. Okay, minus 1 minus 12 also gives us minus 13. Alright, good. So let us work with 1 inside the brackets now. Minus 40 plus 1 gives us minus 39. 2 into the bracket of minus 39. Minus 1 into the bracket of minus 13. Minus 5 into the bracket of also minus 13. And of course, 2 times minus 13 now will give us minus 78. Alright, now minus times minus gives us plus, 1 times 13 gives us 13, minus times minus gives us plus, and 5 times 15 gives us 65. Alright, so let's go. Now, minus 78 plus 13 gives us minus 65, and minus 65 plus 65 gives us 0. So what does that mean, class? It means that this equation is consistent. Okay, it is a consistent equation because when we solve for the determinant, we were able to arrive at the answer 0. So this is how you can test for the consistency of an equation. But like I said, I will be using 2 examples to explain this topic. So this is the first example for today. Without wasting time, let's go to question number 2. Right. Okay. If you know this is the first time joining us, please don't forget to subscribe to our channels and also do help us to share our videos. We are here for you. Now, let us proceed to question number 2. Okay, question number 2 says, find the value of k, alright, find the value of k, alright, for which the following equations alright are consistent. And equations are 3x plus y plus 2 equal to 0, and 4x plus 2y minus k equal to 0, and 2x minus y plus 3k equal to 0. Okay. Now, take a look at this question. Let's say equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3. Now here, example number 2 is quite different from example number 1 because why? In example number 1, we were not told to find any value. We were just told to find if the equation is consistent. But in example number 2, we were told to find k, the value of k, that will make this equation consistent. And don't forget we said that for us to know if an equation is consistent or not, the determinant of the equation must be equal to 0. Don't forget that. So let's go about it. First of all, this is what we are going to do. Let us represent this equation now in matrix form. We have this, okay? Now we have 3, we have a positive 1, we have a positive 2, and then we have 4, we have a positive 2, here we have minus k. Now the reason why I'm including minus k here is because we are told to find the value of k, don't forget that. So here becomes a positive 2, here becomes a negative 1, and here becomes a positive 3k. Now, we are sure to equate it to 0. Why? Because in the question, we were already told that the equations are consistent. But what we are told to do is to find the value of k that will make it consistent. So we are right to say the determinant is equal to 0. Okay, now let us solve. Here becomes 3. So a positive, negative, and positive. So here becomes 3. I'm deleting the 2 elements under 3. I have 2. I have minus k. I have minus 1. And I have 3k. So I have negative 1. Alright, so deleting the 2 elements under negative 1. I have 4. I have minus k. I have 2. And I have 3k. Lastly, I have positive 2. So here we have 4. We have 2. We have 2. And we have minus 1. All equal to 0. Don't forget that. Okay. So now, let us proceed with this. Here we have 3 into the bracket of 2 multiplied by 3k gives us 6k minus 1 multiplied by minus k gives us positive k. Okay, minus 1. We have 4 multiplied by 3k gives us 12k minus 2 multiplied by minus k gives us minus 2k in the bracket. Right, and then we'll have positive 2 into the bracket of 4 multiplied by minus 1 gives us negative 4 minus 2 multiplied by 2 gives us 4, all equal to 0. Alright, now solving the bracket we have is 3 into the bracket of 6k minus k gives us 5k minus 1 into the bracket of 12k. Now minus times minus gives us plus. We have 2k. Alright, plus 2 into the bracket of minus 4 gives us minus 8 equal to 0. Alright, let's open the brackets. 3 multiplied by 5k gives us 15k minus 1 into the bracket of 12k plus 2k gives us 14k. Alright, plus times minus is minus, and 2 times 8 is 16 equal to 0. Okay, here becomes 15k minus 1 times 14k gives us 14k minus 16 equal to 0. Now let us collect like terms. Taking minus 16 to the right hand side of the equation where it belongs, because it does not carry k. So you leave the left hand side with 15k minus 14k. Now when negative 16 crosses the equality sign, it becomes a positive 16. Okay, now 15k minus 14k gives us k is equal to 16. So it means the value of k that will make this equation consistent is 16. You see how simple it could be. So class, we are done for today's section, and I hope on your own time you will be able to solve and also test for the consistency of equations. So if this is the first time joining us, please don't forget to subscribe, and also you can follow us on Facebook. Just search for Mathematics Booster. Also, we are on TikTok. Just search for Math Not Hot, and then you will be right there with us. Again, I say thank you for watching. So we'll meet again in our next class. Bye for now.